What is up, guys? We are talking my favorite outdoor solar cameras here. Yes, both of these are from Eufy and both of them work really well. This one right here is the Eufy S340 and I used this entire last year and I love it. It works amazing for a solo cam. On the contrary, we have this. This is the new S4, the newer version of the S340, and I didn't think this could get any better, the 340, but the S4 is basically that. The S4 is hands down better than the S340 in every single way. However, one major difference between the two of these is the price here. Yes, the S4 is newer with more technology, more features, so it's going to cost more. If you're in the market for a more value type, the S340 might be the way to go. So, if you're in the market for a solar cam, should you pick up the S340 or the S4? Well, let's talk about it. First off, let's talk about the similarities. Both of these are solar cameras. This means you can place them outdoors, they're weather rated, sun, rain, whatever it is, and it's able to take the power of the sun and charge itself. Yes, you don't have to plug into an AC outlet to turn these on and to power these. It uses a solar panel to absorb sunlight and to charge the battery. Now, this is the S340. You can see the solar panel right here. This solar panel takes roughly 2 hours of direct sunlight to power your device here. On the contrary, this S4 is newer. It actually has a even bigger panel. It's mounted to my roof right now. I'm not going to take it down, but trust me when I tell you it's double the size of this one right here. And because of that, it's able to charge even faster. The S4 charges in only 1 hour of direct sunlight. So the S4 is more advanced in terms of a larger solar panel. Now let's talk about the camera system here. Both of these have dual camera systems and they look really awesome. The S340 here has a 3K camera system. In addition, it has a 2K camera that allows for AI tracking and zooming functions as it moves, and it looks amazing as is. Take it one step further on the other hand though, and you have the S4 here. Instead of a 3K camera, it has a 4K camera, so it's even more clear. It's even better. Yes, in addition to having a 2K camera that moves along your AI tracking, it has a second 2K camera. Yes, a dual 2K camera, so that's able to move left and right, but also zoom in at the same time. In terms of the camera system alone, both of them are awesome. But the S4 having a 4K and a dual 2K camera system is the better choice in terms of utmost quality. Now let's talk about memory here. A lot of people don't think about this until they pick it up. Built inside of both of these on the unit itself is built-in memory. Yes, the S340 has 8 gigabytes built into it. This means that you can store all your events, your recordings up to 8 gigabytes before it starts to recycle or get rid of the oldest events to make room for the new events. 8 gigabytes is a very large amount. This means that you'll roughly get about a month or so, depending on how many motion detections, how many events you record before it starts recording over the initial recordings. On the other hand, the S4 takes it a huge step further. Standard out of the box, you get 32 gigabytes worth of memory here. Yes, with the option here to expand it to up to 256 gigabytes on a SD memory card. The S340, you cannot do that. So if you're looking for bigger storage options, the S4 is supreme. I do want to mention that both of these do work with the Homebase 3 system as well. If you already have that, you can have as much recording as you want through that. But as a standalone out of the box built inside the unit itself, 8 gigabytes on the S340 and 32 gigabytes on the S4. Now, one really neat feature about the S4 that the S340 doesn't have that you should know about is the fact that it uses a camera system that uses a detachable battery. Yes, the S4 has a detachable battery. Let me go ahead and show you. If you take a look right down here on the back of this, you have that little unlock icon. You pull that forward, like so, pull it down, and take a look right there. This right here is a detachable battery, and this is miles ahead of the S340. Why? Because you can take this off of your unit that's mounted to the ceiling, to the wall, whatever it is, and you can take this and charge this. You can take a second battery if you choose to use it and pop that in so that that can run your camera and the other one can charge. That's pretty awesome. It's very, very convenient to take a battery pack out to charge as opposed to this one over here. The S340 here, when you need to charge this, and there will be times when you have to take the unit out to charge because in the fall and winter season when there's no sunlight, it won't be enough to charge the actual battery on here. The S340, you have to take the whole camera off and plug it into the Type-C to charge it and wait until it's fully charged, and then you put it back up onto your ceiling or wall. As opposed to the S4 with that detachable battery, you can just take the battery pack out. Much more convenient. Probably one of the main reasons why you pick the S4 over the S340. Now, let's talk about the differences here and the main reasons why you pick one over the other. First and foremost is the price here. Yes, the S4 is about $100 more than the S340. Now, the S340 is already expensive, so the S4 being $100 more is even more expensive. If you want to save some money, the S340 will do just fine. But if you have the money to spend, I do recommend that you pick up the S4. It's got extra features that are pretty neat to have. Value-wise, the S340 is the way to go, but if money isn't an option, pick up the S4. Finally, this real reason why you choose one over the other is based off of how much events you will be recording, the amount of motion detected here. Yes, both these work as a standalone camera, yes. But if you get a ton of motion, if you're placing these cameras in a place that gets a ton of motion, in the driveway, in the front gate where you get a lot of packages, I get a ton of packages and I get people coming to my door every single day, and I like to know who it is. If you get a ton of that motion, the S4 is definitely the better choice because the solar panel on this S4 is much larger and it charges much faster. In addition, if you need to, you can take the battery out and detach it and charge it that way, as opposed to the S340, which has a smaller solar panel and you have to take the whole unit off to charge. The S40 shines in the fact that it's better suited for multiple event recordings throughout the day. However, on the other hand, if you're looking for a solar camera to be placed somewhere in the backyard, maybe in the back shed, in the corner somewhere where you don't expect to get that much video recording anyways, the S340 is definitely the better choice. The more event recordings you have, the more motion it detects, the more battery it will use. That's why the S4 excels at that. But if you're placing it in a place that doesn't get a lot of motion in general, the S340 will do just fine and you'll save yourself a bunch of money. Now, I talked a lot about both of these cameras here. Let's finally show you how they look and how awesome they really are. Okay guys, so here's a view of both cameras in place. First on the left is the S340 and on the right is the S4. And right off the bat, you can see the quality is slightly better on the S4. Remember, it has that 4K camera with that dual lens 2K. But the S340 on the left with the 3K camera and the single 2K is also very clear as well. It's just that the S4 is slightly better. And you'll notice that the tracking, the AI tracking, the camera on the S340 moves both cameras on the top and bottom, whereas on the S4, the fixed camera stays in place and the tracking takes place on the bottom only, but the zoom in function is much better and actually zooms in on the S4. But both are very good cameras. AI tracking is great. Now let's test out the infrared night vision here, and both of them look really nice. In terms of quality, the S4 is slightly better. You can see the quality is slightly better. You can see things floating around. That's because it actually picks up the mist, the fog at night, which is really nice. It's very, very clear here. But the S4 obviously is slightly better, and the AI tracking works on both of these cameras here. You can see the S4 and the S340 moving, but the S4 will zoom in automatically as well, even at night. It is a slightly better camera, but overall, both of them do have very good quality. So you guys can see that both of these cameras, the S4 and the S340, look pretty awesome. They work really well. They both have solar batteries built in, and they both use AI tracking, with the S4 having a zoom in function. In the end, if you're trying to decide between the two of these, you really have to decide between the price. Are you willing to spend more money? If so, the S4 is a really great choice. You'll get a bigger battery pack that way. If you get a ton of motion detection, maybe in your front yard, maybe at your front door, and you have a ton of events that need to be recorded, you will need that bigger solar panel and the ability to remove the battery pack easily. It's more convenient that way. Definitely get the S4. However, if you're using it in an area that won't get that much events, that won't record that much motion, the S340 will do just fine and save you a bunch of money. In the end, both of these are really great solar cams. Definitely a set of solar cameras here I recommend.
We hope this review helps.